Magdi, I have a question to you. With Francis, the last weekend, the last day was about meditation about effortlessness. And it was very beautiful. It was a long meditation with very long silence. But Francis mentioned many times during that meditation that we can drop things, can drop the past, we can drop the future. And as he said, from understanding. Now, through that effortlessness, I couldn't find an entity that can drop anything. But things got dropped without involvement. So it could be that kind of like a mental concept or something that I identify dropping with an entity that needs to drop, that needs to take a volitive action and say, stop thought, But it just doesn't appear. Mm-hmm. It just kind of drops itself. So I was asking, where is this dropping comes from? Is this consciousness through the understanding that drops into itself? Mm-hmm. Because, as you say, everything is a cosmic event, decision-making, the thoughts that's coming, but also that which drops, the entity, is not there. Is it consciousness that chooses to drop through me, whatever it is? Just a curiosity, because dropping has some sort of a dynamism in it. And I couldn't see this dynamism of dropping. There was, like now in your meditation, there was this silence, there was beautiful presence. And there was nothing that could drop anything. It was just allowing anything and being in that, as that. So I just wanted to ask you your advice, your thinking about your understanding. Francis says that he spoke about surrendering as well at the same time. But he said that dropping is more understanding. It's not a dynamism. So I just wanted maybe a little bit of clarification about, because something in me doesn't quite get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. First, I would like to say that when you look in your experience in the moment, of course, you don't find anybody, a doer, a dropper, somebody that would drop something. In a way, as a way of speaking, the job is done. We don't need to go any further, because in fact, when the impression or the belief or the feeling that there is somebody here, like a personal doer, that sense of being a doer, that feeling of being a doer, that belief of being a doer, is to whom the practice of dropping or the invitation of dropping is being addressed to. But in the absence of the belief and the feeling and the sense that there is a personal doer here, that invitation does not apply. In terms of does consciousness drop things, is the dropper, is that whatever it is that is letting go or dropping things is that consciousness. If we want to speak in a relative sense, yes, we could say that consciousness is constantly in the business of creating and dissolving. Every perception right now that you're perceiving is gone, right? And it's in the past, and it's a fresh one, a fresh one, a fresh one. Similarly, every thought that you perceive appears and dissolves, and then the next one appears, and the next one, and the next one. But of course, that is spoken in a relative sense, because consciousness is not in time. Anything that appears and disappears, as a way of speaking, is in the time dimension. But in the timeless dimension, in the dimension of being, of reality, which is consciousness itself, there is no time. There are no events. There is no mind. Mind is relating to time. There is something appearing on a screen. It has a beginning, a duration, and an ending. But that is a narrative, a mind narrative, which of course, teachers use in order to point to a truth that is beyond the tool, beyond the language, beyond the metaphor. What matters is that the metaphor, the language, the pointer serves its purpose. Once its purpose is served, it has no significance of its own. Its significance is only in the understanding that it triggered the hidden, the silent message in the language, in the pointer. Given that there is one reality, if we decide to talk about any activity, which of course would be a conversation at the mind level, which is fine, we can and have no other option but to attribute this activity to the one and only reality, which is the reality of consciousness. But sooner or later, we find ourselves beyond such a conceptual framework. We find ourselves in the timeless, as the timeless. We are the timeless living itself, beyond language, beyond words, at the heart of silence, at the heart of understanding, where nothing is happening, and yet nothing can happen without I. Nothing can happen without consciousness. This is the point where experientially I am nothing and everything. I am nobody and everybody. Nothing is happening. And yet, whatever happens or may happen or has happened or will happen is my own self, which is not in time. So it's a collapse of time into the timeless, into the infinite, into the presence. But coming back to the meditation, in the meditation, the guidance via the words that the teacher is using, the teaching is between the words. That which is being expressed and shared in between the words. And at some point in your experience, the words themselves will carry the message of that which is between the words.
Yes, thank you very much. It's very beautiful what you said. And yes, there's something that comes between the words in silence. And there is this happiness, this joy, this understanding, and it just takes you with it. And I felt this kind of, it's kind of undescribable.
It's your very being. It's the universal,
it's the very
universal beingness.
Yes.
It's your very self. Yes.
Magdi, can I ask one more question that I didn't quite understand? Because it was kind of a new thing for me that Francis was talking about. Can you say something about the path of energy? He was saying the effortlessness is kind of the best, but there is this path of energy, and we sometimes move from one to the other.
Yes, Francis would be best to speak about that, but he speaks of the path of the individual.
Yes.
Where I am somebody living in a world and I am seeking the absolute. I am seeking happiness as an individual in the world, in the relationships and in situations, in various events or achievements. The path of energy is a subsequent to the understanding that I am not an individual, but I am consciousness. And I am guided by that glimpse. I am seeking, traveling, following, exploring. What is this consciousness? Exploring in life. There is the understanding that I am consciousness that is perceiving the world, that is perceiving the mind, that is perceiving the body. Which, again, this is my own words, not to be explaining how Francis explains it. This would be the Nirvikalpa realm, the realm of understanding about consciousness. In the absence of form, there are no more kalpas, no more forms, and just consciousness, but no forms. The path of Shiva is the path which has been enlightened by the comprehension that consciousness, the reality of being, shines within and as the forms, the nama rupas. I am no longer consciousness perceiving the world, perceiving the body, perceiving the mind. Rather, I am consciousness as the world, as the body, as the mind. And the path of Shiva is the endless deepening and the exploration of that understanding. There is no end in sight. I don't speak so much in those terms. They appear to me to be a little bit academic, which is fine. You know, it's just not my forte. But for some, it's maybe helpful to have these sort of classifications. Of course, when we speak of the three different paths, they're not really that different in that it's not like you graduate from this course and now you go to a different building and you're taking the subsequent course. You know, there is a simultaneity to, because
Yes.
we all are this reality, irrespective of quotes unquote where we are at along the path. Simultaneously, we are that reality. And the light of this reality is shining behind the veils, but it's there shining. Although we may not be perceiving through the veil, depending on how thick the veil is, the light is there shining as a metaphor. It's not that the light was off in the path of the individual and then slightly on, dimmed down in the path of the energy, and then the light fully on in the path of Shiva. There is no dimmer on consciousness, the light of me. There is no on and off switch. Yes.
We already are it.
Yes.
These states are always it.
Oh, yes. Always.
Yes, it is academic. It's kind of like degree of veiling, if you wish.
Yes.
No, it's very helpful. I understand it now much better.
Yes.
Thank you, Magdi. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.